Hello everyone, today we are going to talk about sulfate reducers and why they are important microorganisms. And sulfate reducers are bacteria or archaea that have unique ability to use sulfate as electron acceptor. In this case, sulfate or maybe also sulfite or thiosulfate are used by these microorganisms and produce sulfide. This basically the main compound that is used by this microorganisms as electron acceptor, and um, also they need some kind of energy like hydrogen or formate or acetate, and these are intermediate in the anaerobic digester, and for that reason you would actually expect that methanogenesis will not be predominant, or on the other side basically there is some competition between sulfate reducers and anaerobes or microorganisms that actually convert this intermediate into methane, and you can expect that lower methane yield or methane production would be obtained. However, actually higher hydrogen sulfate can be also obtained because of this kind of microorganisms. For each electrons, uh, because actually 8 electrons can be accepted by one molecule of sulfate, and since we have for each molecule of oxygen, it can accept 4 electrons, and therefore, if we have the electron capacity of 2 moles of oxygen equals 1 mole of sulfate. In other words, we would actually expect something like 0.67 gram of oxygen per gram of sulfate. For Therefore, actually, you can control the conditions for these microorganisms by changing the ratio between COD or chemical oxygen demand to sulfate. For example, actually, this kind of 0.67 gram of oxygen per gram of sulfate, this basically is the threshold. This At this level, there is enough sulfate for complete removal of organic matter. However, if you have lower ratio of COD to sulfate, more COD should be added if the objective is to remove sulfate from wastewater. And however, actually, there are some other problems that can actually also result from sulfate reducers. In this case, you could expect some kind of toxicity to methanogenesis and acidogenesis. And also, as we mentioned, there are some kind of lower methane yield per mass or per unit mass of organic matter, because basically there are some competition between sulfate reducers and methanogenesis. And at the same time, sulfide also this kind of bad smell that can also cause some corrosion problem to pipes or engine or boilers, and therefore actually can increase maintenance cost for this component for the system, for example, in an anaerobic digester. Therefore, actually, extra also treatment can be also needed, or post treatment is needed to polish the digested material if it has also sulfide in the digested material. However, actually, the presence of sulfate reducers are important for reducing methane emissions from wetland, which basically this could also be advantage if you would like to reduce the emission from wetland. Particularly, they are responsible for large um, or huge percentage of global methane emissions, and what actually this can affect the uh, global warming and so on and so forth. With that, we can actually stop here, and thank you. If you have any question, just let me know. Thank you.